Today, take a look at the VEVOR grease pump. So we got our instructions. We got our grease gun that has a fairly nice feeling handle to it, and it is actually on a swivel. So if you got to get in a weird angle, you can actually do that with this. You're not going to have to like crank the hose around. Comes with a cone nozzle, and that appears to be standard threaded. So if you wanted to, you can put on a grease zerk nozzle or whatever kind of nozzle you want. So we got a bag. It's got a coupler and looks like a gasket, a couple gaskets. We got some casters. And there is the pump. So it does come with a long high pressure hose, which is important because you don't want to use just any normal hose with this. It says it is rated for 8,700 PSI, so that is excellent. So on the top we got a regulator so we can reduce the pressure that's coming into the pump, and we have our adapter for the hose. And it looks like they put a cap on it, and it looks like there's already some grease in there as well, so we don't have to worry about priming it. So that is providing an excellent seal. And we can see that that is fully primed with grease as well. So what this is going to do is it's going to pressurize the grease, so it's going to push the grease down so it is forced into this nozzle. That way, if you just had the nozzle sticking out, it could just pull the grease out of the center, but the grease on the outside would just be sticking to the wall. So this is going to force the grease down, force it into that nozzle. So I think that we got a handle on here so we can drag this thing around, but more importantly, we actually got a hook, so we got something that we can wrap our hose on instead of having to curl it around here and then just always having it fall down. So it is nice that they included that. So these holes are not threaded. You just drop the bolt through there. Now in the back, we're going to put a lock washer and a nut. So it's a 14 for the caster and a 17 for the nut. And if we look inside, we can see that that is consistent all the way down. Now the reason that's important is because a regular 5-gallon bucket will kind of point in at the bottom. That is a very good gasket. So the threading appears to be the same on both sides, so it doesn't matter which side of the hose we connect. And that is also a 17 millimeter. Now we can also see on the top, we got a nut on the inside there, a nut on the outside here, and an acorn nut, which is acting as a jam nut. So if we wanted to adjust the flow on this, so the speed that the grease is going to come out, we could just loosen up those nuts and then adjust the rod. It is very nice having a hanger there for that. Okay, so we are loaded up with grease now. One thing that I noticed is that this is actually angling forward, so I'm going to put it on, which I assume is the correct way. I think that they put it on this way just for shipping. I'm going to flip the handle around. Make it a little bit more convenient for moving around. So the thing I like about this one right now is that it is not so overly bulky. I can actually lift this thing up and carry it up the stairs if I have to. It is pretty heavy when it's full of grease, but at least it's manageable. There we go. So let's hook up the air. I'm going to have to tighten that. There we go. 4.6. Right about there. So now we just got to purge anything that might be in the line. The whiter blue, that just means that it was full of air, so there was some air in the line, so that kind of injected that. You don't want that in your system. Not really a big deal, but it's not ideal. The dark blue is what we're looking for. So right now, this is running, so we could just use this as is. I'm going to take it one step further, and I'm going to put on a grease zerk nozzle. What this is going to allow me to do is it is going to allow me to use this to directly fill grease zerks. Now, you do want to be careful with that because it's going to put out a lot of grease very quickly. But it's also going to give us the same thing we get with our precision tip. And that's going to allow us to refill our grease guns. So it is a little messy, but you will save yourself a lot in the long run. So overall, that is a very nice grease pump.